Shalawam, shalawam. This is the brother Yeshaya. And before I begin, I would like to face east and give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, the men I do learn this truth from. This is the brother Yeshaya, and as the title of this lesson is, this is going to be further proof Yahawashi was King Solomon. So I was going through, what was that, 1 Kings chapter 4, just last night, and the Spirit jumped on me to go into how King Solomon, Yahawashi was King Solomon, you see? So who this world calls Jesus is Yahawashi, and his name means he saves or he delivers. And Salakia, if I didn't mention, double honors unto the elders and the apostles, and Shalawam, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and Shalawam to the few brothers out there, pushing this word in all truth and sincerity, and the few sisters that hearkening unto this word, Shalawam, Shalawam Yasharallah. Now, as I went through 1 Kings chapter 4, I started picking up on the similarities on the spirit that King Solomon had, which was the spirit of Yahawashi. You see, that's because he was the exact same person. Yahawashi was King Solomon in a past life, if you can receive it. This is more of a meaty subject. Brothers, it's not that hard to understand, but this is something that'll stumble these Christians. It'll stumble these people in this world, because Adam was Yahawashi, or Yahawashi was Adam, Yahawashi was Isaac. Yahawashi, was Melchizedek. Me and the brother had, went into lessons going over these things. But this is further proof. So without speaking much forward, let's get straight into the precepts. Now, I'm holding first Ecclesiastes 1:9. It reads, "The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun." You see, so that goes for spirits. Although this is referring to, things under the earth, under the sun here on earth, there's trees, there's wind, there's animals. It's the same thing with us people, man. The spirit of the prophets, I'm going to grab it here later on, but the spirit of the prophet is subject to the prophet. Just as the spirit of these devils are subject to these devils. We are truly our forefathers, So the believers that believed whenever Yahawashi was walking on earth are the same believers that are here today. The same apostles, the same, disciples turned apostles. The believers, man, we are here today. And we hope to endure unto the very end, man. We hope to continue to serve Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi unto the end. You see, that's how we'll know we are those people. Now, we have no doubt that the believers are here today. We have no doubt that the truth has been bestowed upon Great Millstone, That's why we give our double honors, But focusing on the precept, Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. So what happened before shall be here again. So with Adam ruling over the animals, with Adam, Salaki, got this add on this music. So with Adam ruling over the planet, being the son of God, you're going to have Yahawashi here ruling over the planet. With King Solomon having his throne for 40 years, with the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, Yahawashi shall have his throne with the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. You see? And the two separate kingdoms represent the nation of Israel. The southern kingdom representing you so-called Negroes, consisting of the southern tribes being Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. And the northern kingdom representing you so-called Hispanics, Latinos, and Native Americans. These are all, bywords. These are so-called titles. Those aren't our true nationalities. You ain't going to find a so-called Puerto Rican, so-called Haitian. These are so-called titles. You ain't gonna find that in the scriptures, man. So the thing that hath been is the thing that which shall be. and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. So just as we had a glimpse of the kingdom with King Solomon, we're going to have the whole entire kingdom for eternity under Yahawashi. And just like I mentioned, we had Ephraimites, we had Issacharites, Judites, Benjamites, Levites. They're all going to come back, man. That's what the Revelation 7 speaks on. The 12,000 out of the 12 tribes. Referring to the governing body, which is 144,000 men that shall be saved and rule alongside Yahawashi, you see, and alongside King David. And then we're going to have beyond that a group of men, women, and children that represent the elect, the remnant of Israel that shall be spared and are predestinated to be saved. You see? So this is going to be in Salakia. I'm going to focus on the whole overall lesson. RAWCHAA. This is going to be 1 Kings chapter 4. As mentioned earlier, what inspired this lesson. And to kind of touch briefly, this is verse 27. And those officers provided victual for King Solomon, and for all that came unto King Solomon's table, every man in his mouth, Salakia, every man in his month, they lacked nothing. And that shows you King Solomon had a very beautiful kingdom. Israel was in good hands at the time of King Solomon, before he went off. But that's another that's another topic for another video, another day, if the Spirit allows me to get into that. But when King Solomon was ruling for his 40 years, man, Israel was in a good place. We had that glimpse of the kingdom as mentioned earlier. But let me jump down a few verses down to 29, and this is going into Solomon's wisdom. Solomon was a very wise individual, and that's because he was Yahawashi. It says, and the Most High, so 1 Kings 4:29, and the Most High gave Solomon wisdom and understanding exceeding much, and largeness of heart, even as the sand that is on the seashore. You see that? So Yahawashi, or King Solomon, was given a wide understanding. He had a very large, a very great amount of understanding of what was happening, in this earth. So let me continue. Let me read down to verse 34. And the Most High gave Solomon wisdom and understanding exceeding much. That word exceeding means extremely much. Exceeding much, and largeness of heart, even as the sand that is on the seashore. You see, so you can't number the sand in the sea. It's innumerable. So King Solomon's wisdom exceeded, every man, which we'll get into. It says, and Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the east country, and all the wisdom of Egypt. So he was known as a man of great understanding. It says, for he was wiser than all men, than Ethan the Ezrahite, and Haman, and Chalcol, and Darda, the sons of Mahal, and his fame was in all nations round about. So he was a very famous individual. He was well known for being a wise king. And he spake 3,000 proverbs, and his songs were 8,005. And that's a lot, man. He had a lot of information. The Lord opened up his mind. You see? And that's because, man, it's Yahawashi we're speaking on. Before he was in the form of Yahawashi, his spirit was here. It says, and he spake 3,000 proverbs, and his songs were 8,005. And he spake of trees, from the cedar tree that is in Lebanon, even unto the hyssop that springeth out of the wall. He spake also of beast, and of fowl, and of creeping things, and of fishes. And this is because King Solomon, who we know as Yahawashi, he was the creator, with the Alahayim, the powers that were here with Yahawashi. Because King Solomon is Yahawashi. Yahawashi is King Solomon, however you want to word it. Yahawashi, his spirit was King Solomon, man. It says, and there came of all people to hear the wisdom of Solomon, from all kings of the earth, which had heard of his wisdom. You see, all other kings were coming down to King Solomon to show you how great of a status he was at. With his wisdom, with his understanding, with his knowledge. He was very knowledgeable. You see? So it's not hard to understand that King Solomon represented Yahawashi before he came down as Yahawashi, you know, being the son of King David, which we'll get into here in a minute. But this is going to be Second Chronicles chapter 1 verse 1. And Solomon, the son of David, was strengthened in his kingdom, and the Lord Yahweh, his power, was with him and magnified him exceedingly. There you go. Yahweh bestowed King Solomon in an extreme degree, you know, above all. You know, he was in a very high place. You see, the Lord allowed him to be in that status, you see. And of course, we understand King Solomon went off. King Solomon went on to worship these false gods, and that was his downfall. That was the downfall of Israel. You see, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom split. You know, let's jump down, as I mentioned earlier, that you know, King David, well, Yahawashi is the son of King David. So this is going to be in Matthew chapter 1 verse 1, the genealogy of Hamashiach, from Abraham to Joseph. And this is that's the subtitle. Now it reads, the book of the generation of Yahawashi Hamashiach, the son of David, King Solomon, the son of David, the son of Abraham. And there you go. That's a clear indicator. Yes, Yahawashi, these are his forefathers it's referring to. But we as people, we are our own forefathers. You see, Yahawashi is the Alpha and the Omega. You know, it doesn't mean he just showed up in the beginning and he's showing up in the end. Nah, he was intertwined throughout history, you know, throughout the genealogy. So like it says, the book of the generation of Yahawashi Hamashiach, the son of David, the son of Abraham. And there you go, the son of David, man. That's King Solomon we're reading on, you know. Let's keep it in the New Testament. Let's jump into 1 Corinthians. This one's just to prove, man, that, hey, like what I opened up with, the spirit of the prophets are subject to the prophets. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33. And it reads, for the Most High, or no, verse 32, and the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. And this is why. For the Most High is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints. And the saints are you Israelites. You see, so the same Israelites that were prophets in their past lives are prophets in this life. So King Solomon was a prophet, and Yahawashi, he's the spirit of prophecy. You know, although Yahawashi is spirits amongst the brotherhood, the sincere brothers that serve Yahawashi, you know, that's why we got the spirit of prophecy. And that's what these other camps don't got, man. But although we have that same spirit, it doesn't take away from the fact that King Solomon, Yahawashi was King Solomon. You know, he had the spirit on him heavy to be a prophet. Let me skip this ad for this background music. See? So that spirit of prophecy was heavy on King Solomon. King Solomon wrote a lot of these books we read in the Old Testament. You know, reading the book of Ecclesiastes, Proverbs, you know, Wisdom of Solomon and the Apocrypha, which we're going to get into here in a minute. You know, because that's a heavy one, man. That's what brothers, you know, that's a quick hit, you know, to prove that Yahawashi was King Solomon. You see, so once again, 1 Corinthians 14, verse 32, and the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. What does that mean to a Christian? You know, the spirits, man, we're talking about the inner man, the thing that you can't physically see. Although you see it operate, you know, someone isn't truly passed away or dead off until their body stops functioning. You know, because amen, the spirit dwells in our lobs, our hearts, our minds. You see, and the lob, and that shows you that was a heavy spirit on King Solomon's. Let me grab that again. That was 1 Kings chapter 4. Because that was the Hebrew word when you go into that word heart is lob, which is your heart. So 1 Kings chapter 4. What was that? Verse 29. Verse 29, 1 Kings 4 and 29. And the Most High gave Solomon wisdom and understanding exceeding much, and largeness of heart. So a largeness of his mind was expanded, and like I mentioned, through the spirit, that's where our spirits dwell. So King Solomon was with a heavy spirit, a very powerful spirit, which was Yahawashi. So jumping back, 1 Corinthians 14:32, and the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. So it wasn't no coincidence that King Solomon came back as Yahawashi. You see, you know, that was his final form before he returns in his godly estate. So verse 33, for the Most High is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints. You see, and that's what Yahawashi represents, the Prince of Peace. You know, that heavenly mindset, that man, to see everything done correctly. That's what Yahawashi represented, is perfection. You know, and that's why Yahweh has risen him up on his right hand side, because Yahawashi was perfect in the law. Yahawashi was perfect in the eyes of our Heavenly Father, and that's why we serve Yahawashi. You know, Yahweh in the name of Yahawashi. You see, and we read about King Solomon. You know, although King Solomon was a very wise individual, he still fell off, and that's why Yahawashi came down and was put on the cross, because, you know, not only for our sakes, but for his past lives. You know, as Adam, whenever he went off, as Isaac, when he went off, you know, Melchizedek, you know, obviously, hey, we are all paying for the things we've done in the past. And just as we're paying for things that we've done in this life, as individuals. And that's part of being a man. You know, the Lord raises up the humble. You know, hey, it's a humiliation. It's a humiliating thing to admit, like, damn, I'm a fuck up. And that's what the Lord really looks for in a man. Someone that's willing to acknowledge their mistakes and correct it. That's what a man represents, is someone that's willing to correct their behavior. You know, leave it up to a child, the child's gonna forever fuck up. That's why they need parents. Leave it up to a woman, she's forever gonna be a fucking, you know, she's gonna forever remain for the streets until she gets a man to truly guide her, via her father or via just a man that's gonna allow her to understand her role and her position in this life. You know, and just like us, man, we need Yahawashi to guide us and correct us. That's why it's important to read throughout the scriptures on these individuals, man, that the Lord truly cherished and keeps close to him, because these men, you know, they're Israelites they're the elect, man, and that's who we hope to be. We hope to be the men that were written of throughout these scriptures, man. Like the Bible mentions, there are our names written in heaven. That's what we're supposed to rejoice over. Let me see if I can find that real quick. I don't want to say. That's who we hope to be, man, Lord willing. And that's why we just got to remember to keep fighting, man, the good fight. This is Luke chapter 10 and verse 20. Now, notwithstanding in this, rejoice not that the spirits are subject unto you, but rather rejoice because your names are written in heaven. Let's jump up a verse. It reads, this is Luke 10 and 19. Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. Notwithstanding in this rejoice not that the spirits are subject unto you, but rather rejoice because your names are written in heaven. Now, is that physical? No, but that shows you the angels are encamped around us, and they're reporting to the Lord. You know, we have faith that the Lord's looking down and protecting us, guiding us, keeping us safe. That's a gift right there, to have faith in that, to believe in that. Things you can't see. I can't sit here and tell you, yeah, man, I seen the word go out. And nah, man, hey, doing these works, whether people see it or not, is very important. Because that's what this is about, man. This is a walk. It's personal. You know, we do have to be about the brotherhood and whatnot, but you got to learn to be a brother to yourself, to be a brother to others. You know, so how can you be a brother to yourself if you continue to go about things the wrong way? And that's why when we read, we learn how to truly digest and receive what we're reading. By practicing and practicing, rehearsing. We become comfortable with practice, and then we go out and perform. We hit record, you know, and not every video is the best video. Not every time you're gonna get on the camera, you're gonna perform at your peak. But the importance is never giving up. The importance is to be consistent, remain on fire for Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi. You see? So Salakia, this, you know, this is perfect right here. Let's go ahead and read this. This is 1 Corinthians 14, verse 40. Let all things be done decently and in order. And there you go. So that's what we're striving for, that perfection, being in order, being consistent with decent videos, you know, clear with our points, you know. You know, we don't want to just, hey, let's just change it up. Let's just do this. Let's just do that. No, we got to remain consistent with growth. Let's jump to another precept real quick before we do close out. Let's go ahead and jump to... let's jump to Wisdom of Solomon. Let's go ahead and grab that. This is going to be Wisdom of Solomon. This will be Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. Let me see where I'm going to begin with this. I have it written down right here. Let's begin with verse 17. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 17. For he has given me certain knowledge of the things that are namely. And what did we just read? And what was that? I have it. What was that? In 1 Kings chapter 4, how the Lord had given Solomon understanding. It says, for he has given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely, to know how the world was made and the operation of the elements. Who else knows that stuff, man? That's Yahawashi. It says, the beginning, ending, and the midst of the times, the alterations of the turning of the sun and the change of seasons, the circuits of years and the positions of stars, to the natures of living creations and the furies of wild beasts, the violence of winds and the reasonings of men, the diversities of plants and the virtues of roots, and all such things as are either secret or manifest, them I know. And there you go. King Solomon understood these things. And why wouldn't he? You know, he created them under the authority of Yahawah. So I'm jumping right back to 1 Kings chapter 4, you know, because I'm just trying to drive the point. I'm sure it's already been made, you know, but it's good to rehearse these things. This is 1 Kings 4 and verse 33. And he spake of trees from the cedar tree that is in Lebanon, even unto the hyssop that springeth out of the wall. He spake also of beasts and of fowl and of creeping things and of fishes. And there you go. All the beasts, the plants and whatnot. Let's jump back to it. Because these precepts are parallel, man. This stuff isn't, you know, contradicting itself now. If you think the Bible contradicts itself, you just don't have proper understanding. You've been taught by a devil. You know, and you got to cleanse yourself, cleanse your ways by truly getting the true teachings, the true doctrine. So once again, this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 20. The natures of living creatures and the furies of wild beasts, the violence of winds and the reasonings of men, the diversity of plants and the virtues of roots, and all such things as are either secret or manifest, them I know. There you go. King Solomon knew it. You know, that stated it in the Old Testament and the Apocrypha. And now before I get to closing out, let's go ahead and jump to the New Testament. You see, because they all back each other up. All these books, man, they have their purpose. You know, the Lord didn't write this down for nothing. You know, these aren't vain writings. These all hold truth and power through the spirit and power of Yahweh, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi. Now this one's a quick point. This is Matthew chapter 12, verse 42. The queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it, for she came from the uttermost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon. And that's in 1 Kings chapter 10. You know, it goes into how the Queen of Sheba searched out Solomon, you know, to see what he was about, to try him, you know, because that's what it is. You got to try the spirits by the spirits, you know, as a man of understanding, you know. So they tried him. The Queen of Sheba tried King Solomon, and he exceeded her expectations. You could read about it, as I mentioned, in 1 Kings chapter 10, beginning at the top. So the queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it. And this is in red letters. This is Yahawashi speaking. For she came from the uttermost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon. And behold, a greater than Solomon is here. And there you go. You see, Yahawashi is still greater than Solomon because he learned from his past, you know, just as we are learning from our past. You know, we're simply, what does the scripture say? Proverbs 20 and 24. Man's goings are of the Lord. How can then a man understand his way? And what did King Solomon say? Let's go ahead and close it out with this, man, because obviously, man, Yahawashi, you know, the spirit of the Lord was heavy on King Solomon. So let's jump into Ecclesiastes. Let me see if I could grab it real quick before I do close this out. And like I mentioned earlier, RAWCHAA, Lord willing, this lesson has been edifying. All right, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. And that's exactly what Yahawashi represented. He represented fearing the Lord, you know, which we understand as the beginning of wisdom and knowledge. And he kept the commandments, you know. So who are we to think that we shouldn't follow in that way, in that manner? So RAWCHAA, this lesson was edifying. Before I do close out, I would like to face east, and give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Shalawam to the elect of Israel.